Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Allahumma ajirni minan nar. We hope and pray that everybody out there is doing wonderfully well and that you're ready to kickstart your day with us. I happen to be Shahzad Hasan Khan, and with me, my very well-known colleague who happens to be Miss Hajra Satti. Hello Hajra, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much, Jazakallah khair, for introducing me. Since it's Ramadan, Eid is just around the corner, and it happens to be 27th of March. So we are observing World Zero Waste Day. The International Day of the Zero Waste Day is being observed with the urgent need for a sustainable waste management facilities. I think they're badly needed in Pakistan too. Governments, organizations and individuals must come together to address the growing issue of waste and its devastating impact on the environment. And definitely and certainly that we need to do more in order to curb the menace of the waste, and especially plastics that we litter around so carelessly on the land. So now moving on to another interesting day, which is the World Theatre Day. The world is celebrating World Theatre Day today, honoring the art form's enduring power to captivate audiences, foster cultural understanding and preserve traditional heritage. And I'm really glad to say that PTV has been a harbinger of observing this particular art form, incorporating theatres or the products of the theatres into Pakistan's Pakistan television's golden age dramas.
And we do believe that theatre actually plays a very important role in constructing the social fabric of the society. But in addition to this, ladies and gentlemen, the 127th death anniversary of Pakistan movement leader, scholar, philosopher and educationist Sir Syed Ahmad Khan Sahib is being observed today. Sir Syed is hailed as the father of the two-nation theory and one of the founding fathers of Pakistan alongside Allama Iqbal and Qaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. He was the founder of the Aligarh movement, which laid the foundation for the Pakistan movement. He passed away on this day in 1898 in Aligarh, India. May his soul rest in peace. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un.
And now moving on to another death anniversary, we are observing Jaleel Andrabi's martyrdom anniversary. Today, Kashmiri lawyer and human rights activist, advocate Jaleel Ahmad Andrabi is being remembered on his 29th martyrdom anniversary. Today, it has been 29 years since martyrdom of Jaleel Ahmad Andrabi, son of Kashmiri and prominent Hurriyat leader, belonged to Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir Liberation Front, was pioneer of human rights and freedom movement. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. May his soul rest in peace. Now, Shahzad, as we segue into our segment, and which is regarding navigating the early career burnout, we have seen a lot of millennials, they are at the higher risks of experiencing the early career burnout. And why are they experiencing this trajectory, how to navigate that particularly, and how to make sure that you increase your productivity in an environment which is conducive to your own existence. In order to unfold this conversation, I'm very glad that we have been joined by Sidra Qadeer. She happens to be a certified career development practitioner. Assalamu alaikum Sidra, Ramadan Mubarak to you, and thank you so much once again for being on our show.
Walaikum assalam, Ramadan Mubarak to you also. It's a pleasure to be here again.
I hope you guys... Sidra, and thank you so much for joining us. First things first, let's first of all recognize how important it is or essential it is for anyone to understand that their early career burnout is taking place. Let's get started from here.
Yes, absolutely. So I think the first conversation that needs to be unfolded is that career burnout, or burnout in itself, is sometimes an overused and abused term, which people usually relate to when they're feeling stressed at work. So it is very important to firstly distinguish between the two. You can be stressed about a project, you can be stressed about a deadline, whereas burnout is very different. It is consistent, it creeps in, and it creeps in a way that it affects you physically and mentally both. It can be something that leads to cynical thoughts about people at work, workplace, and it is consistent, that being the key. And it can also lead to difficulty in concentration, difficulty in doing day-to-day tasks. So it is very important to firstly address the feeling and separate it and from the feeling which can be otherwise just a workload stress or a busy work week or something that you're unable to do because you were just not well enough prepared for it.
Do you think, Sidra, that this can actually happen if you don't get paid on time?
Absolutely, absolutely it can. That's called stress induced due to your environment, and any stress that is induced to you for a longer period of time will eventually turn into a burnout, because when these emotions accumulate, they lead to your incapability of performing your best.
Right. Sidra, so you've moved to Canada, and I'm pretty sure as a new immigrant there, right, it takes a lot of time to adjust to the environment, especially in a working environment. So do you believe that new immigrants are more prone, vulnerable to this early career stress outs or burnout? Have you experienced that phase, and how did you navigate it, if so, in particular?
Absolutely, this is true for especially new immigrants and also young professionals when they're entering the work phase. What happens is that there are a number of factors. One, you want to prove yourself. Two, you want to be a yes man to people. Three, you know that there are 10,000 people that you have to compete with, people with the experience in the land, people with the education of the country, and you are here, new person and newbie. When it came to me, I also felt the same way, but I was lucky enough to be studying a profession that helps me navigate through the process. So I knew that how to address the burnout. I knew that how to address the issues, and I then knew that what are the steps that I need to take to do better. And I knew that how to manage that stress throughout my work career also. It has been
Exactly.
2 years now of me working, but obviously it is very real because there are too many factors that affect you through the process.
And I'm going to, yeah,
Right. I'm sorry for
no problem, no
interjecting
problem.
you. But Sidra, we've seen that, a lot of people might experience the early career burnout is because they are in a profession that they don't feel they want to be in that profession, right? Or they've identified that their skills are not matching up to the sort of the work that they are asked to do. So how do we, number one, in order to, if you are to identify the stresses and the triggers, how are we to identify which particular field is better for us or which area we need to go and polish our skills? Because finding your groove in the workplace takes a lot of time, right? But if there is any method that can help us in finding our groove as someone who is expert on these fields, how do you recommend it?
Honestly, I get to meet such people every day where people in between their education and in between their workforce just don't want to do it. They will have rage in them, they will have grief, some will have despair, and some will even have hopelessness because they can't actually switch because of the situation they are in. The question that you asked is that how do we find that out? One, you have to look for root causes. You have to listen to your body, you have to listen to the emotions, you have to see that what I'm feeling, is it a one time thing, is it a person at my workplace that makes me feel this way? Then the issue isn't the work itself. Is it a particular meeting or an aspect of my work, maybe public speaking, maybe writing long researches or reading through anything that can cause it? So firstly, you identify, is it actually me not aligning with the workforce, or is it just one aspect of work that is making me go through these emotions? Second, it is just not like I cannot give you a one word answer for this because it is an entire process. You have personality, and our personality keeps on changing with time. It changes with the exposure that we have, it changes with the learning theory, with what our environment is. When in Pakistan the exposure was limited, a lot of people, no matter which country immigrant you are, your exposure is limited to the country that you are from. So you think this is the entire world, and then when your horizon opens and you are like, no, I can do this too, and I'm interested in this too, and there are options for me in the other field also. So what you do is firstly realize that how well are you performing at the workplace, in the sense that is there's a difference between I feel that this is tough and I can do it, and there's a difference between that this is now life and death to me. It shouldn't be like that. The stress shouldn't be at this level. And then you find out, either you meet a professional, or you can have self reflection where you sit with yourself and see that what aspect of the work you are currently doing is the one that you are enjoying. And while you are enjoying it, what do you think is the professional field that you want to maybe curve a little, or absolutely have a new career path for yourself, which can be done in steps of where you are in that phase and what your state of
Exactly.
mind is through that.
Exactly, but obviously that will be a longer process to figure out whether what you really need to do, because over here majority of the people are not even sure even after graduating that what they were actually supposed to do or what they would like to do. So it's probably in our country because of unemployment we do not have a lot of options to kind of go around. Now imagine that if we are to kind of speak
Right.
about the factors of the burnout, I think that one of the most major factors which I see is unrealistic expectations of the people that you're working with. Now imagine that that you're not able to perform at a level where all of those professionals are already performing. Over here we see ads for jobs where they say that minimum 10 years of experience required. Now over here the hands-on experience is only when you're at your job. How do you think that people can actually smartly kind of come around that as well and fake it till they make it? Or even if
Absolutely.
that's recommended or not?
No, that is absolutely that's absolutely a valid question, and that I see a lot, and I have this conversation a lot where people feel like either they are not enough or either they are expected of too much. I cannot put the entire onus on the employee at this over here. It has to do with the employer also, what sort of workplace environment they are giving, how safe is the environment for them to have these conversations with the person in higher authority or the authority that is above them too. So while the onus is also lies on the employer, the employee on their end can do a lot of things. One, it is very important to set boundaries. Boundaries can look different. You are not supposed to you are supposed to put your iron hand on something such as I will. You are not supposed to check your emails after workplace, especially if I'm talking about Canada. Even I think in Pakistan there are rules that you can go around and have a conversations that I should not be working after my working hours. You shouldn't be responding to emails and texts, because while at the moment you can feel like I'm competing with so many people and yes ma'am will make me go ahead, it won't. You will be exhausted, and it is the person who comes up with the best of ideas and the person who comes up with energy at work is the one who is going to make ahead of you, not you being your yes ma'am 24/7. So firstly you need to set boundaries of avoiding replying to emails or checking emails. If someone from your some such as your higher authority is asking you to do something that is outside of your scope or that is after the work time, there's a way that we teach some
Yeah.
communication tricks around
Right.
that. Communication tricks like, if I could complete this one, it can help
Sure,
maybe
sure.
someone. That communication tricks like you ask them that, if you could guide me through the process, if you could break down for me. So you are sharing the work burden with them. Or communication tricks like, I love this and I would love to do this, but can we start tomorrow as I have X Y Z. You
But
you
that's
you lay
exactly
down
what I
for them
wanted to
what's
ask you.
already happening.
But that's exactly what I wanted to ask you, because within your early career, what's going to happen is that you might not have a lot of guidance and support. So how do you think that with effective communication, which you just mentioned, that people can come around and probably have, their safe space with an individual who works with you, and he can be their mentor or guide them, because it's truly really difficult for you initially to kind of get to the boss's room and be like, sir, mujhe thodi si support ya madad ki zarurat hai. Your job can be at stake.
Yeah, no, absolutely, that is true. But you know, there is no other way around it, in the sense that these communication techniques, there's a difference when I can, as you just gave an example, where you ask someone or request someone that you need help, and then you give them a reasons. So the first step that I was talking about is to sit with your emotions yourself, to know that my tank is out of gas. So I need to, stop, refill, and fuel my gas. Communication strategies. That is why there are mentors. And if your stress is very high, you have to go to maybe a professional, and you can also talk to a friend. I never say that, book a meeting with a coach or a career development specialist. You can talk to a friend about it also, that how can you navigate this conversation. So if it comes with a point of view as respective or as requesting someone. Secondly, as I mentioned earlier, that you can, lay it down in steps, that this and this and this, these are the things that I'm doing, this is the scope of my work, and this is how I feel, could you help me around it? Instead of blaming them, maybe asking them for a solution is one way to communicate around it. Second, it is very important when you are in an environment like that and your employment isn't helping you. Where do you actually think that do you want to stay at this place for a longer period of time? That's where when comes the planning part, that
Sidra,
okay, if I'm not being helped around by anywhere, I
right,
need to
very
find
quickly, on a last concluding, note, I would want to ask you about the racism, because you're working in a multicultural environment and the representation of the South Asian communities or Asian communities in the work environment. Do you feel that you still have to navigate, maybe not just racism or just a different work environment, work culture, and you have to find your groove, and it makes you emotionally and physically challenging, finding your place in a different environment?
there's a hill that I will die shouting, chanting this thing on, that if you are good at something, if you are confident within yourself, you can go in any room and make yourself stand out. That is something that I always tell people. And how does that happen? When you are doing something that you are good at. My entire journey itself has been through a lot of different careers until I found out something that I was good enough to be, like today being called on a TV show. So what you need to do is that, when it comes to environment, unfortunately or fortunately, my experience in Pakistan has been different than my experience in Canada. It was always about how good I am, how confident I am, what is required of the work. So they would ask me to do in interviews. The interviews were really tough that I had in Pakistan, where I was required to show them that do I have the potential for the work. Whereas in Pakistan, I was asked about my appearance, or how would I deal with people with my face not being visible, and things like that. So I know it's bittersweet and it's not something that we would want to hear, but that has been my personal experience, that it has been more difficult in Pakistan than
Right.
it has been
Exactly.
here.
Exactly.
Right, and thank you so much, Sidra, for being on our show, for sharing your thought process, your trajectory, navigating the careers, especially in living in a different country, which is our, the significance of this particular day in Islamic calendar is that today is going to be the night of 27th of Ramadan, and we know that our beloved homeland, Pakistan, was created on this particular day back in 1947 on 14th of August. But as reflecting upon the significance of the Shab-e-Qadr, it is said that Ramadan allows us to think, to reflect, to pray, and to deliver and heighten our spiritual senses, our spiritual consciousness, and allows us to devote ourselves to this entire slavery of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
And I believe, Hajra, what we really need to kind of speak about over here is how, you know, for the very first time, Jibreel alayhi salam actually came down to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam for the revelation of the Holy Book Quran, alhamdulillah. So this is the night of decree. This is the night which has been mentioned is better than 1,000 months as well. So please make sure that you give in your best today and, you know, ask for, you know, whatever you feel like. Do qiyam in the middle of the night as well. You know, ask for whatever you want. You know, please make sure that you pray for all of your friends, family members, and whatever you want from Allah Almighty, because Allah is Rahim, Qadeer. Nothing is away from Allah Almighty. So please make sure that you pray for us, our entire team, for our country, everybody out there.
Right, and now we will take you to the Azerbaijan to see that how Ramadan is celebrated there. So let's go, let's take a look.
Let's go. Oh, wow. I mean, looking at the Ramadan cuisine in Azerbaijan makes me feel like as if I really need to kind of go to Baku. You know? Yeah, I don't know. But, you know, we're certainly going to give away a recipe as well.
Right,
so, Hajra,
right.
what are we doing?
So let's go, let's take a look in Cooking Conundrum. What do we have? Aaj kya pakao, and who is going to resolve our crisis of Cooking Conundrum? Let's go, let's take a look. ये रेसिपी किसकी है मैं देख लूं. Right, and this recipe is made by Ikra, who goes on the name of Food Hub Sialkot. Thank you so much, Ikra, for making this yummy recipe. And now we will go on to another interesting package that our team member Sajeel has made. He has put his dedication and work into stitching a Farsi shalwar. So let's go, let's take a look and see the history of Farsi shalwar.
The shalwar is a traditional garment with roots in the Central Asian region, particularly in the Indian subcontinent, Central Asia, and the Middle East. The origin of the shalwar can be traced back to the ancient Persia and Central Asia. It was popularized in the Indian subcontinent during the Mughal era, which had a significant Persian influence. The Mughals brought with them many elements of Persian culture, including the style of clothing. Haram pants is an Ottomanized version of shalwar. Its loose fitting made it a comfortable attire, which became a unique selling point for Persian courtier Paul Poiret to incorporate it into his 1911 attire collection. He named the collection as Style Sultan, marketing them as a liberating tool from the very uncomfortable fitting of the European dresses. Over time, the shalwar became integrated into the traditional attires of countries like Pakistan, India, Afghanistan, and Bangladesh. It also made inroads in Hollywood as bloomer pants. Most recently, Justin Bieber wore haram pants appropriated from Ottoman shalwar. Today, it is an essential part of South Asian fashion, often worn by both men and women in various styles and fabrics. Farsi shalwar has taken the internet by storm. Farsi shalwar was worn by both men and women back in 60s and 70s. Its comeback has been observed in every Pakistani designer collection.
So from 1670s, fast forward to 2025, a Farshi shalwar is a multi-purpose shalwar. Now imagine that, on the way, you're actually cleaning. On the next, if you're going to jump into the pool, I think for men, it's going to be an airbag for you as well, so you're not going to drown. You know how we feel like,
Right.
putting air within your
But
shalwar and just
I just
be
heard
safe in a swimming pool.
I think I just heard the rumor that Shahzad might also be,
I
trying
am.
to wear the Farsi
Yes.
shalwar on the Eid. So I would be very interesting to see the look. But in order to unfold the conversation on the fashion trends regarding the Eid, is just around the corner. We are very glad that we have been joined by a content creator, a blogger, a fashionista, who adorns the clothes very nicely. She happens to be Miss Samiah Ahsanuddin HAMDANI. Assalamu alaikum, Samiah. Ramazan Mubarak to you and welcome to World this morning.
Assalamu alaikum. Hope you guys are both well. Thank you for having me on your show.
So far, so good. And, so obviously everybody is kind of going to tailors, and I'm seeing a lot of tailors kind of coming out on internet and be like, hum farshi shalwar banwa kar thak gaye hain. So is that all that we're going to see on this Eid? Farshi shalwar?
I think you're going to see a lot of that. Everyone and anyone wants to wear a farshi shalwar. All the designers are actually sold out because everyone's having exhibitions just before Ramzan, before Eid, and I think most of them are selling out like hotcakes because everyone wants to be very trendy.
Right, and Samiah, please relate to us what are the fashion trends they see, because I'm seeing that every sort of clothing is in the fashion: short shirts, long shirts, medium-sized shirts, trousers, farshi shalwars, normal shalwars. So what do you recommend? Kaftans too. What do you recommend?
Hajra, I think it's a very personal thing. People who are able to and are confident will try and wear the farshi shalwar because it's very trending. But other people who are slightly more conservative in their dressing, they will wear the longer shirts, the kaftan looking shirts that are also come and they're very trending now. They'll be doing that. Like you just said, the 60s, 70s, when my mom and all, they used to wear the very slim fitting shorter shirts with the farshi shalwars. Those are very, very trending. So I think for me, I was thinking and debating which one I want to wear. But now that I have this lovely outfit, I think it's going to be my Eid outfit also.
Right.
It's a shorter shirt and a lovely farshi shalwar.
And Samia, since we were talking about 60s and 70s, I do remember how my father used to wear bell bottoms as
Oh,
well,
yes,
with
oh,
long
yes.
hair. So my mother with a
Exactly.
farshi shalwar and a short shirt, and my father with a bell bottom. But in addition to this, I think according to fashion or fashion sense or aesthetic sense, what should we choose for? Is it a short shirt with farshi shalwar, or is it a long shirt with farshi shalwar, or do you think in days to come we will have Hawaii kurtas as well?
Or just trendy clothes over comfortable clothes.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's again a very personal choice. For someone like myself, I'm tall and I have slimmer legs, so I think I can carry off a falshi shalwar. But somebody who's not and doesn't want to, they may feel conscious. So it's very personal what they want to do. I love actually longer shirts. I've always worn longer shirts because for my own self, I prefer those. But now that these have come in, I've worn it a couple of times and I've liked what I look like. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. But
Right.
I mean, longer shirts are very much in fashion also. So
Yes,
don't give away
yes.
your long shirts.
Yes, of course, kaftans are really, really trending. So, Samia, we've seen, I would particularly like to talk about that how Pakistani fashion is captivating the hearts and the minds of a lot of non-Pakistani communities. And I've seen that influence also, captivating and enticing the hearts and of the lot of people in the Bollywood too. So our cuts, the way our designers are, dressing us up, the kaftans and like the farshi shalwar. I've also seen, a lot of people in the Bollywood are also wearing that. So how do you see this evolution of Pakistani fashion? Because Pakistani fashion is a very important aspect of our cultural diplomacy, right? Or extending our influences across the globe. Since you are into the fashion, how do you see it?
Well, Hajra, as you know, I'm based out of Dubai. So in Dubai, Pakistan and Indian, our culture is very, very similar and we intertwine with each other a lot and we mingle with each other. So the trends that come out of Pakistan, obviously we carry them in Dubai. And when you wear something there, the our friends from the other side, when they see us doing that, they love it. And obviously it picks up a lot. And in Dubai, we have a lot of multi-brand exhibition that happen there. And, people come to those Indians and Pakistani and buy a lot of our trending outfits. I have
Exactly.
friends who are designers in Pakistan who sell across the border a lot. And mashallah, they do really well. So Pakistan is, mashallah, our fashion, our work on our kurtas, the intricacy of our work is unparalleled. Ours is
Exactly. And
far superior to anywhere else in the world.
exactly. And Samia, in addition
Oh,
to
yes.
this, I think I would want to kind of get into this conversation where how women over here in Pakistan will always go for a customized dress, you know, so they'll have to go to tailors not even once, then there's one trip for laces, then there's one trip for dye, I don't know, you know, so it's probably a lot of days for one dress. How is it in Dubai, and do you have a tailor culture over there as well, and are you know, some tailors very famous amongst the Pakistani community कि उस्ताद जमील के पास चले जाते हैं, इसके पास चले जाते हैं,
मास्टर
you know?
साहब के पास जाना
Yeah.
Say, Zad, over there in Dubai, because time is of essence everywhere now, and even in Pakistan, if you notice, a lot of people are now wearing ready-made clothes. The khadi, the sapphire, the generation, they have now boomed because everything is ready-made and women want to buy quickly, and trends are changing, so you want to be part of the trends and you buy because the tailors, I mean, don't get me wrong, there are people who just go to tailors also, and I think now with this farshi shalwar fashion, everyone is going to their old tailors again. In
Yeah.
Dubai, we do have tailors, of course. There's a place called Mina Bazaar, which is full of tailors. People do go there, but it's not as popular as it is in Pakistan or in India. I think
right.
the tailors
और नखरे
concept
उनके उनके
has
नखरे
become
कैसे हैं?
much less.
उनके
Sorry?
नखरे कैसे हैं कि समिया जी आप देर से आइए, अब मैं आपको ऑर्डर नहीं ले सकता, समथिंग लाइक दैट?
वैसे वहां भी हो जाता है अभी ईद से पहले वहां पर मुझे पता है कि बहुत सारे टेलर्स नहीं ले रहे एनी दे नॉट टेकिंग एनी ऑर्डर्स एनी मोर बिकॉज उनके पास टाइम नहीं है बिकॉज ये फर्शी शलवारों ने जो वक्ता डाला हुआ है सबको.
Right, this is, I 100% endorse what are you saying, Samia. So now we will move on to another, very interesting aspect of the fashion. I would say that, like, Venice is the fashion hub of, the European culture. I do believe that Dubai is the fashion hub of the South Asian culture, right? Because I do find that Dubai exhibits a very interesting, in a large and a huge exhibitions, like you mentioned. So in the days to come, Samia, how do you find our fashion going, and do you feel that, in the days to come, it will take over the entire world? Because I generally feel you are living in a very multicultural background, that Goras, they're also very much interested and enticed by our color selection, and generally South Asia is a very celebratory sort of the culture. So do you feel that, people, white people, they're also fascinated by our fashion?
Hajra, I'll give you a small example. I got married nearly 25 years ago. And when I got married, I had friends from Cambridge where I studied come to my wedding. And when they
Right.
came here and they wore our clothes, and, Ammi had made some clothes for them to wear at my wedding. And I see the
Right.
same thing happening with now my friends' children who are getting married. When they come here, all the Goras, they are blown away by our hospitality, one, and by our culture, our clothes, the vibrance, the work on it. उनको तो लगता है कि उनकी तो ईद हो गई है literally.
Right, right. And I think there's another interesting trend, that is, your heirloom clothes that are refashioned, especially for the bridals, right? We just see that trend is
100%.
going. Yes, yes, that trend is going on. And again, if you see that how in 18th and 17th century, Europeans were very much fascinated by these Ottoman pants, and obviously Ottoman pants is also another version of shalwar that we wear. But one last question before we wrap up our segment. Are you done with your Eid shopping? And so how has been, Eid shopping for you in Dubai?
Are you happy about it, या अभी साइज में कुछ तब्दीलियां रहती हैं?
या मास्टर साहब की क्लास आनी है?
वैसे तो पकोड़े खा लिए ना उससे तो साइज को थोड़ा लूज करना ही पड़ेगा शायद. आपको पता है रमजान में we all gained weight. But no, alhamdulillah, I'm done with my Eid shopping. My little daughter was telling me last night, actually at Seri time, that Ammi, mere Eid ka joda bhi nahi hua. So today we're going to go Eid shopping for her, inshallah, to get something for her.
But
Right.
thank you so much,
Most
Samia.
people, I think, are all done with it.
Yeah, most of the people, even my farshi shalwar and kurta is with me as well. But thank you so much for taking our time, for being with us, on World this morning. It was lovely to be in conversation with you. Ramazan Mubarak once again. I've got a great news over here, which I will want to share, Hajra, if you allow me, because imagine that a video on social media, which shows a visually impaired boy reciting the Holy Quran using a Braille version, has garnered thousands of likes and comments. The video shows huge crowds of people gathered at the Masjid Al-Tayyib Al-Aqabi in a suburb of the city of Algiers in Algeria to listen to the boy recite the holy verses. The boy received immense praise for his beautiful voice.
ذلك يلقى أثاما ومن يفعل ذلك يلقى أثاما يضاعف له العذاب يوم القيامة ويخلد فيه مهانا إلا من تاب.
Wow.
And that's very interesting. So a huge number of worshippers have, in a breathtaking display of faith and community, vast gathering of worshippers converge at the iconic Ahsanuddin Mosque in Casablanca, Morocco, to perform the Taraweeh prayers. The majestic mosque, renowned for its stunning architecture, is one of its largest in the world. The towering minaret of the mosque in the sea of devout worshippers made for a beautiful sight to behold. Wow. You know, that this is such an interesting mosque to go and to see, and you know, really want to perform the prayers and become a devout servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Oh my God, just see the,
Look at the sea of people out there
flocking to the mosque, and alhamdulillah, this is such a beautiful sight to behold. And mosque is, we have seen it again and again, that it's not just, you know, a particular place, a community place, you know, where people gather to offer the prayers. It's also a place where we do our socialization, right? It is a nodal point for, you know, collective gathering, I would also say, you know, where we are talking about our other matters too. And in Islam, politics and religion has never been separate. So we've seen. Yes.
Exactly. Not just that, where you spoke about community centers as mosques, I think it's a brilliant idea over here, and people really need to kind of explore this idea over here in Pakistan as well.
Right.
Not just that, I think imams have actually gone further than that. Now they're having push-up competitions, and it's
you're
great.
fascinated by those imams.
Yeah,
right?
I am, because I would certainly, you know, since you're speaking about your religion, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam never liked, you know, if somebody's tummy was bulging out. So, ladies and gentlemen, Islamic Society in the US has uploaded a video on its official YouTube channel showing two mosque imams competing against each other in doing push-ups. The video has been seen thousands of times and received as many likes. Onlookers in the video are seen encouraging the two imams as they put in all their energy to do the maximum push-ups. You know, so imagine over here, whenever I come across an imam, unfortunately, who's a beast, I'm like, okay, you know, you're not spreading the message of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You really need to be, and not just that, you know, because the children are actually playing in the mosque too as well these days. You know, there's this video that I've seen. You know, I don't know.
The imam playing and hide and seek, and I think this is the soft, you know, I would say the face of Islam that has always been a very vibrant and essential aspect of our Islamic culture. And I think because Shahzad himself is a very fitness enthusiast, he's into fitness training, so he's very fascinating by the imams of people, you know, who are, and we've seen people, you know.
Yeah, that's like walking the talk now. That's like walking the talk.
Yes.
You know, so whatever you're preaching, you're doing it yourself, you know, and you really need to be an example. For example, if a dermatologist comes on our show and her skin is not flawless, what's the point of her being a dermatologist, you know, and there can be issues with people. But in addition to this, Hajra, I have a very important and essential topic to talk about with you, because you always make sure that sense prevails. Now, imagine that within the GCC countries, it was a trend which might have been forgotten now, but there was a trend that whenever a girl is going to be at the age where she needs to get married, their parents would hoist a flag on top of their house, white color flag, so that people would know that there's a lady in there who actually needs to get married. What is your take on that? Do you think that we need to adopt to this culture? Because parents over here in our country do struggle at times.
Right, I don't know. I just feel this is very frightening and scary, you know, having a white jhanda on your house and, you know, just declaring to the people that, you know, anybody can.
Pakistan ke liye theek nahi hai.
Yeah, I don't know, you know, I've been born and raised in a different culture, but now we will move on to another very interesting segment where we are going to talk about the anatomy of the dream, breaking down the journey to success, and we have a motivational speaker. She happens to be Rabia Ghauri. Assalamu alaikum, Rabia, and Ramazan Mubarak, and welcome to World this morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you so much. Ramadan Mubarak to you as well.
Thank you so much. That's wonderful to have you over here. So first things first, I think, let's break up the anatomy of the dream. How do we do that?
Okay, thank you for inviting me to your program. I'm the founder of Facebook platform, The Dreams Weaver, and it interviews the very successful, highly individuals who withstood the tests of times and remained resilient. And that's what motivated me to explore more about success. I grew up in Pakistan and then moved to US. And after moving here, I got inspired by the success of US and its people in so many avenues like education, healthcare, technology. And there seems to be a system in play. And this is my perception that I'm quickly going to share with you.
Sure.
First is the reminder, start your journey of success with reflection. Reflection is to think deeply and carefully.
But Rabia, I'm
Reflection.
sorry, I'm sorry I have to interject you here, but I do feel that it's important to really define what success means, because I believe that you're coming from an American culture. It's a capitalist society, so success means more in terms of
American
the
dream, yeah.
financial, yeah, more in terms of financial success, how much money you make. But we are coming from a Pakistani background. It is not that overly capitalistic society here. Success has a different dimensions to it, right? So how do you navigate the definition of success coming from two different cultures, merging and colliding them together, you know?
Right. So that is actually a very interesting question. And being brought up in both cultures, success in US is very different, has very different meaning. It is combined with very small baby steps and a success of moment rather than looking at success from a bigger picture and a bigger project. So
Right.
let's say. A success for Americans is waking up 5 a.m. in the morning, or exercising every day. And how would they define this? They would define it not by saying that I wake up 5 a.m. every morning for this many days. They say, okay, out of 3 or 4 days in a week, if I wake up, then that's success for me. So they are realistic, and they look at the again, the smaller pictures to gain the higher perspective of success.
Exactly. And in addition to this, I think now from our perspective,
Right.
success probably for me, I can only speak about myself. For me, is that where your all of your relationships are well kept in a place. That you look after them. There's work-life balance. You're looking after your children. You have time for your parents. If you're out there for shopping, probably whatever you feel like, you never have to think twice or look at the price tag. Whatever car you want to drive, you drive that as well. But in addition to this, you're helping people, you're building mosques, you're getting people treated in hospitals as well. And it's a very holistic approach as well, towards success. Do you think that success is individual, or do you think that success really needs to be alongside all of those people who live with you?
Yes, success is a shared goal, especially that I have learned here in US society. Success is a combination of efforts of different individuals, your mentors, your family, your friends, whoever is involved in your life, and spreading that circle and looking from a holistic point of view. That's success for people here in US.
Right. And Rabia, so whenever we talk about the success, so since you mentioned, for people who are living in the America, success for them might be waking up at 5 a.m., right? So in Pakistan, we do have a different culture, right? Because in America, you are coming from a position, which is very secular position. They have abandoned the religion in the favor of, or to practice it in the public, private spaces, right? But in Pakistan, the concept is very, very different, right? So success has maybe spiritual element to it. It has a religious element to it. It has a communitarian element to it, because we are living in a very dense sort of ties. The community system is very strong. Family system is very strong. So whenever you talk about the success, right, especially to the immigrant communities in America, who are traveling through between two different cultures, right? It becomes a bit confusing for them. So how do you define success for them?
Yeah, so it's very different. Like the steps that I was going to talk about, it applies to every kind of success. Like it could be, as you're saying, a secular society, or it could be a religious society like Pakistan. However, the steps that you incorporate to achieve any kind of success is very well defined, and it's a process that is repeatable and adaptable, and that can be applied to anywhere in the world, be it Pakistan or be it somewhere else. So that's one thing that we have to figure out, that how is this society becoming so successful, especially when you talk about education and technology and healthcare.
True. And we
And
certainly,
so I was
obviously, we really need to make sure that all facets actually come together, in order to kind of collaborate with your success as well. But thank you so much, Rabia,
Thank you
for
so
being
much.
with us.
Thank you so
Lovely
much.
to be in conversation with
Thank
you.
you
For
so much.
everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, these were Rabia's view on success, and everybody, because we are a product, unfortunately, I really do not agree to this, but at times I've seen this, that we are a product of our circumstances, and success is something which is, variable. For me, it'll be different. For you, it'll be different. So for us to kind of gauge somebody's success looking at ours is something that we should really be doing.
Right. Thank you so much for these concluding remarks. So until next time, it's a goodbye, Allah Hafiz, and good morning.
So write to us on this morning at ptv.com.pk. Until next time, 1, 2, 3. Good morning, Ramadan, Pakistan. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.
Have a great day.
Until next time.